Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, we're going to have a fun and interesting conversation. I'm excited to talk about this one with you. In fact, this is Future Jen after just finishing recording, and I ended up going for over 30 minutes on this thing, so let's really jump into this. And I honestly can't wait to read your comments about this one. First of all, thank you so much for being here. Do make sure you're subscribed because I'm so close to the 100,000, so please make sure you're subscribed. It really does help out. Okay. So last week I put out a video because it was Graydon Carter, the former editor of Vanity Fair, had put out a statement about how Harry and Meghan had made every wrong move possible. Okay. So now royal biographer Christopher Wilson has come forward and is reviewing 20 things proving that Graydon Carter is correct. They keep making these terrible decisions. So I thought we could go through these points, have a few laughs, talk about all the stuff we know, see if there's anything we don't know, and go from there. So let's jump right on in and see what they have to say, because I couldn't agree more. They keep making the worst decisions possible, and let's take a look at what they're pointing out about these two. So this is out of Daily Mail. They're reporting that Vanity Fair magazine I talked about, Graydon Carter, former editor, has delighted the world for years in his ringside view of celebrities. Last week, in a withering verdict on Harry and Meghan, he said, "I think they've made every wrong move you can possibly make," and pronounced, "If you're out there too much, the public has a chance to get sick of you." So now this royal biographer, Christopher Wilson, sets out on 20 things the couple have done, which prove Graydon Carter right. So let's go point by point and discuss a lot of the terrible decisions they made along the way. Now, each section has a title to it. The first section's title was cut off because of a stupid advertisement, but it was called "What's in a Name?" And it goes on to say that the couple called their daughter Lilibet, the late Queen's nickname ever since childhood. They said it was a tribute and that they discussed it with the girl's great-grandmother. However, the choice was criticized as trespassing on the emotional exclusivity of the name. Prince Philip's friend Giles, I'll never be able to say that last name, says members of the royal family considered the choice bewildering and presumptuous. And I'll take it a step further and say people have denied that they actually discussed the name with the Queen. So I'm going to call BS on that as well. But, you can decide for yourself on that one. But since when have they asked permission on anything? Seriously, that would take way too much thought of other people. They would never. It's way more likely that they were, presumptuous and just was like, okay, that's what the kid's name's going to be. Now, I have so many feelings because, I love the Queen. I will always love the Queen. And I have so many of you in the comments feel the same way. So this brings up a lot of strong emotions for people. So I've made a decision. I'm going to do my best here on out. I've had requests for this. I'm going to try to do my best. I'm sure I'll screw up. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to call the kid Lily because, I don't believe, in my opinion, that the Queen would... I just don't believe that they would have asked her. That takes, again, too much consideration that they don't possess. So it's much more fun for them to shock people and to do things like that and to be full of themselves. And everything is calculated. So, no, I don't believe they asked for permission. I don't believe it was granted. And I don't believe they would care. I think they actually hoped it would be controversial. I think he's too stupid to think, but I think she plans it out. And she would hope it would be controversial. So it's much more fun for her not to ask. So, no, I'm going to call the kid Lily going forward. As you know, I never go after the kids. It's not the kids' fault that their parents are stupid. But, the parents are stupid. And they'd made a stupid move. And some of you guys pointed out in the comments just so rightly, I was just like, I believed it was just meant to elicit a reaction from the Queen. But a lot of you guys pointed out, well, that plus it's a way to tie her to... It's like a word association. So people will always think of the royal family, even if, one day they lose their titles, that sort of thing. Also a good point. Okay, the next point is called Not to Brag, and it says, Harry says the happiest days of his life were in the army, but in his memoir, he claimed to have taken out 25 in Afghanistan. War veterans condemned the admission, saying it endangered the lives of those who had served with him. War hero Colonel Tim Collins curtly dismissed his words with, "We don't do notches," which I take that to mean, "Hey, idiot, shut up." All right, the next point is spare change. Princess Diana bitterly regretted making public her version of the breakdown of her marriage via Andrew Morton's deeply damaging book, Diana, Her True Story. Harry's memoir, Spare, caused almost the same level of hurt. But while Diana wrought her revenge without taking a penny, Harry got a reported £16.5 million advance. I've talked so much about Spare recently. You know my thoughts on this. Actually, I'm about to have another video coming out. You'll see it. So much cringe having to do with Spare, some more stuff. But so I'm not going to go deep here, but I'm going to tell you, obviously, it was so painfully bad, the book, and littered with nonsense. And I mean, even he's still contradicting things he's written in Spare, and things have come out proven untrue. And there's just so much BS in that book. I honestly don't believe anything the two of them ever say. So there's that. All right. The next one is Stream of Revelations. Harry signed a multi-million-pound contract with Netflix in 2020 to make documentaries, films, scripted shows, and children's programs. The couple created a controversial 6-episode series on their lives for the streaming service, but the notorious interview with Oprah Winfrey was made by her company and broadcast by CBS. I've gone into this one at length too recently, but I will leave this here. How anybody can believe either of them after so many things have been proven to be lies and absolutely not true. And words that they have said. I have videos where you can see them say one thing and then just completely lie about it and then say something completely different. Just totally change your story. Complete lies. And so how anybody can believe anything out of them is just beyond me. Okay, the blame game. So often it's someone else's fault on planet Harry. Ding, 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 both of them. The Prince of Bearing Grudges, I like that name very much, blames Big Brother William for many ills in his life, including once wrestling him to the ground, and even his own decision to wear a uniform to a fancy dress party. Harry intimated that it was William's suggestion that he wears the armband, though surely it was ultimately his choice. I've said this before, and I think it fits perfectly here. He seems to be a passenger in his own life. He blames everybody for everything. He can't take responsibility. He acts like a child. And the fact that he blames William and tried to blame Catherine too, even though it's since come out that they weren't even together at this point, or they were on a break or whatever, he tried to blame them for his choice in costumes. And then how does he explain that his friends also wore these horrible costumes? He can't explain it because it's all BS. It's all a lie. Again, I'm getting worked up. Everything they say are lies. And the only one buying it are the sugars. But, that doesn't really say much. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 side notes here because I always get asked 2 questions when I film videos like this. One is, Jen, why don't you say certain words? I'll tell you why. It's YouTube. I cannot say certain words. I guess I could, but my videos would get shadow banned. So that's why I don't say certain words. It's not that I don't believe they didn't happen or that I'm trying to downplay what this idiot or that idiot, either of these idiots did. It's that I don't think I should be punished because these assholes made bad decisions. How about that? What was the other one? Sugars. Everybody, or not everybody, some people always write, who are the sugars? That's what the group, that's what they're called. I hear they hate the name. I've heard some people say they love the name. I don't care. I actually don't even give that much thought. But it's a rabid group of fans that wholeheartedly buy anything that either of them, but especially her, say. How do they explain all the lies and the contradictions? They don't. They just buy it all hook, line, and sinker. And what's funny to me is that they say, oh, you're going after her because she's a woman. I've said in many videos, I think he actually might be worse than she is. So how do you explain that? How do you explain why I always talk about how much I love the Queen? I believe she was a woman. And what about Catherine? I think she's a woman too. Princess Anne? Also a woman. Love her too. Sophie? Also a woman. Love her too. I could keep going. Or they'll say, oh, it's racist because that's what Meghan says. And it's like, no, it's not. It has nothing to do with that. It's because she's a terrible person. And also, what color is he? Because I'm going after him too. Can't explain that, can ya? And here's my last disclaimer. This is not directed at you all. You guys in my comments, I love you all so much. I truly do. You guys are the best. I don't know. I'm feisty today. It's just this whole article is reminding me of all the dumb stuff they've done. That's the only reason. You guys really are the best. I appreciate every one of you. All right, let's get back into this article. Frogmore no more. After being given Frogmore Cottage amid their fallout with William and Catherine, they only spent 6 months living on the Windsor estate before moving abroad and having to refund $2.4 million of the taxpayers' money spent on its refurbishment. Yeah, just let that sink in next time they try to convince us it's not fair. We weren't treated the same. They were mean to us. They didn't give us stuff. Yeah, you were given a house and 2 million worth of funds to fix it up how you liked, and then you decided it's too hard. 72 engagements is too hard. All right, the Fast and the Curious. Was it really wise to hail a yellow New York taxi after attending last month's Women of Vision Awards, you guys? It led to a, quote, high-speed chase. No, it's a near catastrophic high-speed chase. Compared to Princess Diana's last journey, and made headlines just weeks before Harry gave evidence about against the press about privacy, you guys. Yeah, it's interesting how sleepy, smirky, and sulky back there are trying to make us forget about this. Don't worry, we won't. But I think about them trying to demand footage from Batgrid, which I find very funny because Batgrid had a very funny response to them. But interesting how nothing else has come out about this. No footage has been found about this near catastrophic car chase. And no more details have been given, not by bystanders or witnesses or videos. It's almost like it didn't happen. Isn't that weird? Visa V is Visa. Army rule number 1 is don't shoot yourself in the foot. But after confessing in spare to taking illegal substances, see, still doing the thing, Harry is now embroiled in a U.S. legal case, which could lead to the release of his immigration papers. Visa application forms ask about past substance use, which could be a cause for rejection, although not always. All right, as much as I like to think this is going to be hilarious, I don't know if this is going anywhere or not. But I got my popcorn and I'm ready to watch to see what happens because it would be hilarious if his visa didn't work out because, lies. Again, how can anybody believe them? But we'll see. I don't get political. I'm not going to get political. I had so many comments saying, the current administration are friends with them, so we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know, but I'm here for it and we'll see what happens. How about that? Bully for you. While Harry took his campaign against press intrusion to London's High Court last week, the voices of the courtiers who claimed that they were bullied when they served the Sussexes have been stilled. An internal inquiry into Meghan's behavior and why decent people felt the need to leave royal service have been buried. I get really passionate about this one too, because there are so many reports about it out there, and we've all heard the stories, and a lot of the books we've read, we've gone over the allegations. I do wish the records would be open for us to read. I understand all of you guys make great points when you say, oh no, it's to protect. It's because people go after the people who have made these allegations, and that's so messed up, right? It's so messed up that you can't even be heard because it's like protecting Harry and Meghan. That's bullshit. But that aside, I still think something's going to come out about this. I gotta believe it. Maybe when William's king, something will come out. Maybe it'll somehow accidentally leak or something. But I just think, regardless, where there's smoke, there's fire. We've all heard so many stories that all match up with similar stories, right? And it's just too coincidental because you don't hear these stories about most of the, you know what I mean? The other ones. I don't know, the other royals. You don't hear the same stories, but you sure did about Harry and Meghan. Are you in or out? Has Harry made up his mind whether he's still royal or not? The perfunctory attendance at his father's coronation suggested he's still hedging his bets. That's exactly what it was. He acted like a petulant child. He showed up for 4 minutes, made faces the whole time. Luckily, Princess Anne, loved so much, has that red feather. Thank you for that. So let's see. Significantly, there was no protest when he was addressed in court last week as His Royal Highness. Not only was there no protest, I believe, if I understand it correctly, it was him that wanted it that way. So yeah, he sure likes the perks. He just doesn't want any of the work associated with it. All right, misplaced anger. Harry continues to blame the press for his mother's death and has piled it on thick. As the French courts decided, Diana got into a car driven by a drunken man and lost her life because she wasn't wearing a seatbelt. I don't like to go too hard into this one, but all I'll say is William suffered the same loss. He grew up in a very similar way. I know he's the heir, but I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. He grew up in the same household, essentially. And he managed to not have this same obsession with the press. He managed to... he doesn't use it as an excuse for everything, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, in the comments, you all have left me amazing comments about all kinds of things, like stuff that you have personally suffered, and it's awful. You wouldn't wish that on anybody, but you get through it, you carry on, and you don't get a free pass to act like an asshole like these two. Soap opera. After he abdicated, King Edward VIII also made money by selling his life story. But once his tale was told, there was nothing left to sell. Now Harry risks making the same discovery that bearing his soul only cheapens his image. I would actually say this applies very much to both of them. And not only is it cheapening their image, it's giving them the opportunity to, well, it's giving us a lot of laughs because it keeps allowing them, it's giving them enough rope to hang themselves, right? They keep contradicting themselves. They keep telling different versions of different stories. They can't keep the lie straight. However you want to word it, that's what they're doing. And it's fascinating to watch. Here you go, playing the race card. In the Oprah interview, the couple claimed they had experienced racism within the royal family, something denied by senior royals. Harry seemed to have forgotten the unbridled joy that greeted his betrothal to a mixed-race woman. Before the couple did a bunk? Said it like that because I'm not familiar with that expression, but yeah, they forget things like that everybody was rooting for them and thought, yay, let's, this is great, good for Harry, and great, tell us about her, But then we got to see it with our own eyes. We got to see how they both acted. And I'll never forget that. I mean, I bring it up all the time. What turned it for me was the going to South Africa and preaching. They both were preaching, woe is me, while standing around people that were really suffering. They were there to try to bring attention and help to people who were really going through serious things. And they couldn't have cared less. They made it about themselves. I'll never forget that. I'll never forgive that. They're disgusting. And yeah, it's just one of the many reasons that, that's what turned it for me. That was the final straw. I was just like, oh my God, these people, they're terrible people. And they showed their true colors right there. Jet, set, go. Last year, Harry told the United Nations that climate change was wreaking havoc on our planet, but he had flown to New York on a private jet, a favorite, but not at all green form of transportation. Yeah, this is something I bring up a lot. They sure do love to, they love to do this sort of thing. And hey, listen, I've said it before, if you can travel private jet, go for it. But I don't think you should travel private jet and then preach to everybody about how important your choices are and to go give speeches on climate change. I will never not think that's absolutely bonkers and call them out for that. So yeah, here you go. In Pod We Trust. The couple signed a Spotify deal in 2020 for 3 years of podcasts. Now, I'm hearing reports, we'll see, that it is done, nixed, we done. I tried to find the specifics on this one. It's not, on the IMDb page, is still showing as active, not canceled, but we'll see. I'm hearing the same things you guys are telling me, that it has been canceled, that allegedly like 200 people lost jobs over this. So I think it's still being worked out as I'm recording this. So we'll see. But maybe over. We'll see. But this is reporting that they had signed for 3 years of podcasts. A dozen episodes aired last autumn, but nothing since. Spotify's boss said he got, quote, carried away spending money on talent. So I don't know what day this is going up or what day you're listening, but I just put up a video Sunday and kind of went into the Spotify of it all. So definitely take a listen to that, because we go into the reviews of this podcast, the cringe moments. Oh, it's worth taking a listen to. So go back and listen to that. And in that video, I got a bunch of comments saying, oh no, it's been canceled. So again, I hear you. I'm reading all the same things you are. I'm not here to officially announce that. We'll see what officially comes out. But yeah, I'm hearing the same rumblings you are. Labor pains. The birth of their son Archie in May 2019 was an important historic moment. But the couple were accused of deliberately misleading the public by saying Meghan had gone into labor when she was already home with the new baby. Okay. I would encourage you, if you have not already, go back and watch this video right here. The easiest way to find it is under the playlist Spare. You'll see this episode right here. Get ready to not believe this. This goes into the crazy story they tried to feed us about this in his book. You guys, I can't even remember every single detail because it's been months since I've read this, but they are so outlandish. I actually had people in the comments, like labor and delivery nurses, saying, this makes no sense, the story that they tried to spin us on this birth. It is wild. But beyond that, I get what they're saying. They're talking about the birth announcement there. And I go into that in Revenge. He really does a good job, Tom Bauer, the author of Revenge, does a good job of explaining how they duped everybody and how it was, according to Tom Bauer, had to do with how they could get the most publicity, but also cut out the palace from getting any details or knowing anything. It was the most bizarre thing. So many interesting details. Definitely go back and watch those videos, because there's a lot of details I'm not remembering, but so much shrouded in mystery with this whole situation. A lot of it had to do with like giving the rights to CBS. It was wild. All right, relatively isolated. As Graydon Carter says, Harry and Meghan have done something they'll live to regret. Their children have no relatives. They have never seen their maternal grandfather, Thomas Markle, while the broken relationship with William means there's scant contact with their cousins, George, Charlotte, and Louis, etc. Just as Harry likes to preach about every decision affecting, climate and stuff while taking private jets, Meghan likes to have these word salad buzzwords of like every decision, everyday acts of service and compassion and stuff, and yet she can show none for her family. I don't know how you justify that. You don't. Loose tongues. Spare a thought for digger driver Sasha Walpole, who out of the blue became one of the world's most talked about women after Harry boasted that he lost his virginity age 16 to an older woman in a cow field behind a pub. The mother of two might prefer to have had the details of their tryst kept private. Yep, just part of the worldwide privacy tour. We want privacy. So yeah, they want their privacy, and yet they have no problem going around sharing details like this. He wrote it in his book. He sure didn't mind sharing private information, sharing text messages supposedly between Catherine and Meghan. I don't believe anything in his book, but you know what I'm saying? He shared private information about William in his book, private conversations, and yet He is all about privacy, you guys. He wants his privacy. He doesn't think anybody else should deserve it, but he does. All right, Wicked Whispers. In his memoir, Harry calls Camilla the wicked stepmother. A cheap shot, because as anyone who knows her will confirm, the only wicked thing about Camilla is her sense of humor. Yeah, I would say there was no need for that. He went out of his way to take a shot at her and lots of women in his book. That's something that people talk about. He really was harsh on women, from women teachers to Camilla to, I mean, just different people in the book, different women. He seemed to take a harsher swipe at. But yeah, he did. He took swipes at her and accused her of working with the press, even though it was found out, or it came out that it was not her. It was somebody that I believed, I can't remember, like worked for her. And once she figured out that somebody was leaking, they were promptly let go. So it's just, again, the rules don't apply the same for them. They think, it's totally fine to insult other people, but heaven forbid you talk about them, then they want their privacy. All right. And finally, pick up a penguin. Harry's deal with Penguin, worth upwards of £22 million, requires him to produce at least one more book, and soon. What is there left to say, having trashed his family? A lifestyle manual on how to chill out in California? So remember, the idiot claims that he cut out quite a bit from his book to make it as... I can't even get through that. You guys, Spare was just the longest, most painfully awful book ever. So the idea that he cut that book down to get to where we got, oh God, what else is there left to whine about? I don't know, but we will see. I'm sure. I mean, I feel like he's got to know his time's almost up, right? So he's going to make it as sensational as he can and try to make as much money as he can. I don't know. That might take too much self-awareness from him. So I'm not sure what's left. I'm very curious. Who knows? Who knows? So much more left to invent, right? I mean, so many more grievances. He didn't talk about what happened when he was, 6 and he and William fought. So I'm sure he'll write about that in his book, right? Oh, it's just so silly. Anyway, guys, that is it for the article, and that is it for me. I thought it was a really good article. It touched on a lot of really good points, but they still like to give these two the benefit of the doubt a little bit. I felt like they didn't go into I guess they weren't going to go into every detail. They didn't go into all of the dirty laundry of these two, but still a good article. I thought it opened up good discussions. I really want to know your thoughts, so leave me comments below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching and for being here. I sincerely appreciate all of you. I am driving to that 100,000 subscriber mark, so please make sure that you have hit that subscribe button and, what are the bells turned on, whatever you're into, hit that. And thank you guys. Make sure the thumbs up is hit, all that stuff. All the things. Do all the things. What else? If you want to further support, definitely check out the merch. Make it make sense. Recollections may vary. Look at me. And then Hank and Skank, I got that. And In a World Full of Meghan's, Be a Catherine, I have that as well. I've had a lot of you guys order that lately, so thank you for that. And if you want to further support, definitely check out Patreon. Patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. That's where you can become an executive producer and get your shout out. Speaking of which, I'm going to shout out my executive producers now. So a huge thank you to Linda. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you to Paige. Huge thank you to Teresa. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Aaron and Frank. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Ann M. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Ann H. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Glynis. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Adair Becker. Thank you to Erica. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Barb G. Thank you to Diana. Thank you, Allison B. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Lori. Thank you to Pauline. Thank you to KT. Thank you, Jolene. Thank you, Stromboli. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Loie. Thank you, Lucy H. Thank you to Georgia. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Robbins Landing. Thank you to Helen. Thank you to Mara. Thank you, Ashley C. Thank you to Molly. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Sand Squid. Thank you to Rach. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Dee Dee. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Dombey. Thank you, Android P. Thank you to Sheena. Thank you, Aaron M. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Spectrum Mom. Thank you, Vanessa B. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Mimi Heathcote. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Anita. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you to Bree. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you to Elvis Rose here on YouTube. Thank you to Lori. Thank you, Tim B. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you, Kathy with a C. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Christina. Well, I so appreciate you all. Thank you if you are on the Patreon. Thank you if you're an executive producer. And hey, if you're not, definitely check it out. We have a lot of fun over there. Guys, I hope you have the best day, and I will talk to you again soon. Can't wait to bring you another video like this. Take care. Bye-bye.